Hey everyone, Danny Webster here from Pocketnow.com, and we're outside Microvision about to see the Pico P projector that's a laser-based projector.
So in your camera will pick up a little bit of probably our scan line refresh rate, which you can totally set because we just move the head out a little bit here. Slightly different than a, where you can sync it to like a CRT mod or something. So it's just,
it's so light. Cables. We're going to make a thinner cable in this so it doesn't show it so much. So let's see here. I'm just going to put it in full screen. Oops, get rid of that. Want that there. That's really annoying too. So the point being is that if you want to do an impromptu, kind of a spontaneous presentation, you can use your netbook, or it could be a Windows Mobile cell phone. The only difference between this and a cell phone is this has analog RGB out, so you use the VGA cable, which is obviously a much better video signal than TV out or composite. Just things to bear in mind. It's a plug-and-play device. So as you may have noticed, when I plugged it in to the VIO, the VIO looks like that. I plug it in, and what it does is it automatically converts this and that so they match. So we see exactly the same thing on here, on the VIO as you see up there, and I think that's very, very important. A lot of applications, it'll look different on here than there, and you're trying to figure out what's going on here, things get shifted around. So we've made it so what you see on the netbook or the cell phone or whatever it is, looks exactly the same whether they're there. We think that's really important. So again, this is intended primarily in this particular application for the road warrior, the person who lives and breathes the elevator pitch every day. Time is money. I've got a few minutes of your time. I want to show you my product, my presentation. I'm selling you or updating you or whatever it is I'm trying to do. So being able to plug it in and work like that is great. But another thing that's really great about it is that it's always in focus. So, Matt, if you were to turn the lights on a second there. So projectors don't like light. Whenever you use a projector, you turn the lights off because this is black to a projector. A projector cannot project black. So make it a little bit smaller. So now I'm in a very bright environment, and you perhaps come a little bit closer, and you can see I still have a very acceptable, sort of an 18-inch image that I can use. So if you turn the lights all the way off now, actually all the way off.
Oh, it's very clear.
Okay, so I can actually come back and make it very large. So that's probably about an 80-inch display now.
It's pretty good.
So if I have the option to do that, then I can make the image extremely big. Do another. Right, and I only need to come in a little bit. Now that your eyes have adjusted, that's actually quite bright. So even at Microvision, all the companies I work with, they always turn the lights off when giving a presentation or down. And so this gives you the capability to really have a big screen. But at no point have I had to adjust anything with the projector. Right? Plug it in, I don't have to worry about adjusting some strange focus button. It just works. And that's what's the beauty of it. The other nice aspect about it is, which you probably can't see in the dark, is very, very thin. The whole projector is 12, 13 millimeters thick, something like that, maybe 14. But the whole idea is that it's basically the same size as a cell phone. So you can slip it in your pocket or your purse, carry it with you wherever you go, and you can just get it out. So we envisage a number of use cases. Business use case we think is very strong. It's something that a lot of people have asked us about and want to use it for. Then there's the whole mobility section for consumers, and we think about it in two areas. One is the person at home who wants to use it in their bedroom to put up a big video, pictures, or YouTube, whatever it is they want to do. And also the person who, I go to my friend's house or I go to Starbucks or wherever it is, I want to share pictures, video, multimedia content with my friends. So those are kind of the three areas that we look at for this type of device.
It's a tricolor laser system, correct?
Yeah, I can get some pieces out if you like.
Okay.
Hardware to show you.
That'd be great.
But what it is it's light sources are lasers, a red, blue, and a green laser, and then we have a little MEMS scanner And what we do is we literally paint the image, and if you can come up a little bit closer, you can actually see some of the raster lines, kind of like a CRT.
Mm-hmm.
And we scan left and right to left. We literally paint the image line by line to build up an image. You come to the bottom, and we go up to the top again, and we do it all over again.
So it goes up and down?
So it goes left like this,
Mm-hmm.
back and forwards. We paint, literally think about a painting, the laser beam.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the bottom and it flips back up again, and we do it again.
Oh, okay, so it starts from the top and goes down to the bottom.
Right, so we
Okay.
do 60 times a second.
Wow, that's a lot.
So we get a 60 hertz refresh rate, and as you can see, you don't see a lot of flicker or motion. That's great.
You kind of see it on the video, but that's just because the camera
That's
has
because you got to be synced.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's not exactly 60 hertz. It's close to that. So if you don't match it exactly, you'll see that that bar going up and down. So we're actually going to be launching it in those two colors initially, blue and graphite.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can see that. And there's the buttons on the side and the window where the...
Can I compare it in size to a credit card?
Absolutely.
I think I might have something in here. It's like a credit card without actually showing my credit card.
Yeah, without showing like numbers.
Maybe you can use your phone. You've got a Windows Mobile phone.
Here's a gift card. There you go. So it's a little bit, in comparison to a credit card, it's a little bit wider than a credit card, but only about an inch taller than a credit card, so that's great.
So we have a Motorola Q phone. See, it's the same length.
I
and it's
dropped in the Orlando airport the last time I was there, so you got a crack screen.
not as wide.
Yeah.
That's great. So it's about the same size as a cell phone.
Right.
Yeah, and the whole idea is that, yes, you can put it down, but also is to be able to hold it in your hand.
And how
be
much
able
does
to- So the bits and pieces, oops, have to use the right latch here. So the heart of it is the MEMS scanner.
Wow, that's small.
And if you look right in the middle there, there's a little mirror, maybe it's reflecting. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right about there. Okay, that mirror is etched out of a piece of silicon, and it oscillates vertically and horizontally. And if you combine those two motions very carefully together, you can get a sort of a zigzag pattern, like a raster pattern. And then this is one of the lasers. And basically what you do is you point the laser beams. So we combine, there's a red, blue, and a green laser. We combine those optically into a single beam.
What's the nanometer wavelength on it?
So green is about 530 or so. Blue is around about 440, and red is at about 640. We can get you the exact numbers if you like.
Okay.
But if you shine that tiny, very narrow beam at the mirror, you can see as the mirror moves, the beam will be steered. And that's how it works. The entire projection module that's inside here is this. It's about 5 cc's in total size and just 7 millimeters thick.
Wow, that's small.
Well, one of the nice things about it is that, about our technology, is that as we go to higher resolutions, and we have a roadmap to go to higher resolutions, right now we're WVGA, so as we move to higher resolutions, the size of this doesn't change much. In fact, it may actually get a little bit thinner. And that's really, really important if you're trying to embed it inside, say, a cell phone. You know, the thinner it is, the higher, the better the chance of embedding it, because it needs to be one of a number of layers inside the cell phone. So that's really one of our big strengths, is the ability to make a very, very thin but high resolution projection module. One other thing you may have noticed from the image, our field of view is very wide. So if you stand, 60 inches from the wall, the image is 60 inches across. So it's a throw ratio of 1 to 1. All that means is that you're closer to a bigger image. Right. So if I am sharing a presentation with a couple of colleagues, if I was using one of our competitor devices, the image would be half the size by area. So we're twice as big, so it gives a much more immersive experience. So what we like to tell people is this is as big as it'll ever be.
Oh, great.
It's going to get a lot smaller than this over time.
And that houses all those components inside?
That's right. The red, blue, green laser, the optical combining, and the scanner. Now, external to this is a PCB. And that PCB will get smaller and smaller as we move to new chips towards the latter half of this year. So the entire projector, if you include the PCB, is basically twice the size of that, very approximately. Very, very approximately. And again, just 7 millimeters thick. We don't use projection lenses. Comes out this way. There's no, typical projectors, you know, the big round lens and you got to adjust the focus. We just have a window.
Wow.
We're not actually projecting in the same way we're scanning an image. So there's a battery, obviously, on the inside.
And can you change the battery?
You can swap the battery out,
Okay,
yes.
that's a good feature.
Yep, so it's just a typical battery. It plops in there and it will last, depending on what you're showing, it will last perhaps 90 minutes or more or a little bit less. And the reason for that is we're a little vague about that. And that is we actually modulate the light source. And what that means is we create every pixel. So if I need a blue line, the blue laser goes on, but the green and red are not used effectively. So
okay.
a typical picture or movie or whatever is about 20-25% on and 75-80% off, white versus black, if you think about it. Right, so we take advantage of that by only using light sources during that 20-25% on period, and the rest of the time it's off. I'm saving power. So if you watch, like we like to say, if you watch Toy Story or a cartoon, it's probably closer to 30% on versus off. If you were to watch The Dark Knight, it's probably closer to less than 10% on versus 90% off because it's a dark movie.
Yeah.
So that means your battery will last longer if you watch a darker movie.
Oh, that's a great feature because a lot of LCDs, they just use the same amount of power.
The light is blasting away regardless of what you're showing. And that helps us because we get great contrast. So if we really, I especially like this picture because it looks great, but it's also my dog. And you know, if you come up closer to the image, if you get a bit closer, you can see the level of detail. So it is only a WVGA display, so it's 480 lines. It's not like these big business projectors are 1,000 lumens in high resolution. It's much more specific, but even at 480 lines, you still get great readability. We have these exceptional colors as well. It's really the widest color range of pretty much any display. So deep blues, greens, and reds from the wavelengths that I mentioned to you. You get these fantastic colors. You know, this really saturated reds. Right?
Yeah,
and you don't have to use those colors.
That's amazing.
You can actually bring those colors into something that's more equivalent to a TV, right? But the nice thing about having the bright colors is it makes the image look brighter. So again, we do really good on skin tones and things like that. Still on really good on readability, right? Down to 10-point font readability. And again, really excellent detail. So yeah, it'd be nice to have higher resolution, but for the applications, you really don't need it. Right? WVGA is very sufficient. Actually, I really like this picture here because it really shows.
And WVGA is the highest that Windows Mobile will now support at this time.
Exactly. So, right. But except that you can use it on a netbook where it's. But again, the detail, you see the colors, the deep reds, and so on. You can really create almost any color, and we have a wonderful grayscale to create the level of detail that you see in the image. And again, all the time, I like this image because it's nice and bright, but all the time, you can go nice and close, a really bright image, or we can go really big here, and we're probably at about 100 inches now.
Wow.
But if it wasn't for that bright light on the door in there, that would look pretty amazing. So imagine, you're in your bedroom, or perhaps you're lying in your bed in a hotel, and there's your ceiling.
Well, that's a lot better than the TV they give you.
That's right. And then you can just slip it in your pocket, plug it into your mobile device. I don't know if you got it, plug it back even further. If it was pitch darker, we could literally fill this wall, and it would look great because your eyes would adapt to the darkness pretty quickly. But now that